Alright, welcome back. This is the 24th of March, 1999. In our alternate reality where Wales is certainly going to qualify, hopefully, for the Euros in the year 2000. So that's a year from now, a little bit more than a year from now. But anyway, things are going sort of according to plan, even though we lost the last match. So, squad details right now. Looks like this. We had an amazing win over Estonia, and then we lost, well, narrowly. I don't know if you could say that, because match stats show that that was a fair result, to say the least. They should probably have won that with a couple of goals, but I seem to have picked the right goalkeeper. And now we're facing Georgia, and as you can see from the fixture list, it's probably only realistic to get points in 2 of those 3 matches that we have left this season. So hopefully it'll be 3 points today against Georgia, and then also 3 points in the last match away against Estonia, which we beat heavily in the first match. Belgium away, on the other hand, that's another thing entirely. Where we did play them in a friendly in our first season, where we managed to get 1-1 in an away game, but still it was a friendly. So I think this will be very different. Now, one thing that I didn't get around to talking about yet is regens, and those are important because there are a handful of Welsh players that are really old, and one of those people are this guy. One of those people is this guy, Neville Southall, who is one of the best rated players in terms of potential. If you look in the editor, you'll know this to be true. But it's weird because I've played lots and lots of saved games in Championship Manager, and I've never noticed any goalkeepers from Wales suddenly appearing as regens and just being amazing. So I don't know what's up with this guy, but I can't wait till he retires. I haven't used him in this save because I expect him to retire before I need him for the Euros. So I'm using this guy, Paul Jones. I already talked about that, I think. But anyway, there are 2 of the aging Wales players from the beginning of the game who have retired during the first break between last season and this season. And one of the new gens that were created is this guy. And he is the regenerated Clayton Blackmore, who I fielded in a couple of the first matches. He was pretty old, but I think also he was decent as a defender, right? I don't know, this guy looks... His stats still look weird, right? Like they sometimes do with the regens, with like stamina and strength very low and so on. So I'm waiting for him to turn out a little better and for someone to pick him up. That's really, that seems to be the problem with the regens this time around, because there's another guy as well. There was a Welsh guy, Welsh player. I didn't know him before this game or anything, but I noticed that there was a Welsh player with, well, a fair amount of caps, who was a left winger, and his name was Glenn Hodges. Well, I've Googled him and stuff, so I've done my homework, but I didn't know him before trying my luck as Wales manager in this save game. So, but anyway, this guy Roger Hopkins is the regenerated Glenn Hodges. So Hopkins, Hodges. Hopefully we can remember that. I haven't used him yet. Seems to be very slow. A pace of 3, and that that makes for some weird regens sometimes if the old player has like very poor ratings in terms of pace for obvious reasons, being old and stuff. But the regenerated player who is young, like this guy, 22 years old, he still has the low rating in pace, the low attributes. So I don't know if he'll turn out to be someone useful or not, but I'm keeping tabs on him right here on the short list. This is the rest of my short list, by the way. Yeah, Mark Crossley will probably be the second keeper for my World Cup selection. And then I'm looking out for this guy, Roger Freestone. He looks great. But no one seems to want to pick him up. Might be because, well, the problem with the you can see I've got 5 guys who are free transfers. No one seems to be willing to pick them up. This guy, for example, he has 13 caps. Found him from the beginning of the game, and I've been looking at him as an alternative for the fullback in the right side, but and just for a backup player because he can play all 3 positions in defense, but no one picks him up, and might be because he's really old and close to retirement, but still, I'm thinking maybe if I'd run 3 leagues instead of just 1 league, then maybe some club would have picked him up from a free transfer. I don't know. Anyway, those were the 2 regens that I'm keeping an eye on at the moment. Now, we are ready to play the match. It's match day, as you can see, against Georgia. But I just wanted to talk you through the stuff with the players. And by the way, I've done my homework this time around, and I'm keeping an eye on all of the players that are close to the first team, to the national team selection. So that's around 20-25 players or so. Checking to see if they get any playing time in their clubs and how the clubs are doing at the moment. I think, well, I've noticed that, well, the most important things is that Giggs is top of the league with Man United, gets lots of games. The positive surprise is this guy, John Oster. He's, I think, 4th place in the Premier League with Everton and gets a fair amount of games. 31 appearances here in the month of March. That's pretty good. And he plays with a rating of above 7 in general, and does well in the European matches. So I'm delighted for him, and he does well for the national team as well. The most negative thing right now is that Mark Hughes, who used to be really important for Chelsea in the last season with a rating of 7.37 in 16 matches. That's pretty important. He was also injured for a while and stuff, but still he plays really well. In this season, however, he only has 5 appearances for Chelsea and only 1 goal and 1 assist. So if you put that together with I don't know how to phrase it, but anyway, look at that, look at his age, and then look at his contract, which ends this year. Then I'm thinking there's a fair chance that he won't make it to the Euros. Or not a chance, probably a risk. And he might turn up as a regen, but will anyone pick him up for a free transfer, or should I use him anyway? I don't know. I'll figure that out as we go along. But anyways, he's kind of really important to me in a central position and has been playing well for the national team. So I'm sad to see that Chelsea appears to be able to do fine without him. So that's a problem. Then we've got a couple of other guys whose contracts also end by the end of the season, and one of those is Neville Southall, the old goalkeeper. So that's interesting to see whether he'll retire by the end of the season. He's getting no matches at all this season for Everton, even though he was their main goalkeeper, their first choice in 43 appearances last season. Apparently they found some new guy, or they did, I checked. It's an English guy. So Neville Southall is just sitting on the bench. So that's no good either. Right, now I've talked for more than 10 minutes about these players, but still, this is important stuff. Because I'm trying to think ahead here and sort of build up the squad for the Euros, just assuming that we'll qualify. Last player whose contract also runs out by the end of this season is our veteran striker Dean Saunders, 34 years old, with lots of caps and goals. Plays for Nottingham Forest, but and he does play. He's doing well for them. They are sitting on top of Division 1 at the moment. So probably they will be promoted to the Premier League, but I don't know about this guy because his contract runs out by the end of the season. And will they want to renew that contract with this 34-year-old Welsh striker? I don't know. So let's see what happens. But yeah, that's the team as it is right now. And I think, yeah, they're in good condition, maybe with the exception of David Phillips, who, by the way, is also playing lots of games. He also gets lots of games for same team, Nottingham Forest, where Dean Saunders also plays. And he's 35, but he does have his contract running out a year later, so maybe he'll retire, or maybe he'll just be promoted into the Premier League with the rest of the team. I don't know. That'll be interesting by the end of this season, because obviously it's the last chance to lose some players and gain some regens instead, which might be a good thing, might be a bad thing, depending on the players. Now, I'm feeling him in this game because, like I told you earlier, he can play all positions, almost all positions, secretly. And right now, he's my best choice as a right back. Couple of players are a bit, well, with low morale. And these ratings, that's from the friendly, not the friendly, but the match against Estonia, which, well, seemed pretty easy, so I'm not taking that into account. It's only a few matches, so I shouldn't put too much stock on that result. Anyway, I chose Andy Williams, and I don't know, I might go with Kit Simons, but really he's playing for Man City, which to me at first looked pretty impressive, but then I found out they're first division team in this edition of Championship Manager, which I sort of forgot, and they're still playing in the first division after the first season, and doing rather poorly actually. So I don't really know about him. The other choices is Robert Page. This guy is one cap, so I did use him one time. He's playing for Southend, and Robert Page. I might want to use him, but I've got a few options here. The problem with Robert Page is his passing skills, but it's the same thing with some of the others. Adrian Williams has been doing really well for me in the international games. Lee Jarman, I've given him a game as well. He's playing for Southampton, and well, doing okay for them, I guess. They are lying in the bottom of the Premier League, right at the moment. But he's playing increasingly well for them, so I might want to use him. But he also has low morale. So actually, I'm not entirely sure. And David Hughes, Well, he also plays Premier League football for Aston Villa, but he doesn't get lots of matches. So, I don't know. Kid Simons? I don't know. He has been playing okay for me in some of these earlier matches. In the last match, I didn't choose him. I chose Adrian Williams, who played poorly. Then Simons came on and played sort of okay, I guess. David Hughes played well. What was it, David? I don't know. But he's his physical condition is 76 right now. So I'm choosing Adrian Williams again. And just because lots of, not lots, but a couple of the very few people who are who have commented on some of the tweets I've written about these exploits with the bloody red dragons, they mentioned Robert Page. So just for fun, and just maybe to take some of the responsibility off my own shoulders and hand it to them, I'm going to try him. Then have Lee Jarman be the backup guy. That should be interesting. So Coleman plays really well at the left back position, so I'll use him again. Vinnie Jones, Gary Speed, they're ready and hopefully able. John Oster looks great. Mark Hughes, hopefully he'll impress his club manager enough to give him lots of matches for Chelsea with his performance in this match. I don't know. Dean Saunders looks happy and fit and everything, but John Hartson has been scoring so many goals up until now in these matches that I'm trying him again. Hopefully he'll just get better and better because he's still young. So I think this is a record almost 18 minutes that I've been talking now so far in this video without you seeing any actual match gameplay. But let's get right down to it. Wait a sec. Just have to check about the captaincy. Penalties, corners, and dangerous direct free kicks. I think it is the way it's supposed to be, so let's just jump out in the deep water and see if we can swim. Right, off we go. Yeah. Georgia. So this is, well, yeah, I realize it's been a lot of talking and now I'm sitting here quiet, but that's because I'm sort of hoping and also I have to focus on what's happening in the game. And, well, oh no, behind after 30 minutes. That's not what I had planned though. A lot of talk about these players, but well, okay, now Gary Speed made sure that I won't be yelling too much at them during the halftime break, which, well, might be a good idea anyway, because really it's only one shot on target. We did manage to score. It's a problem in midfield. They've got the most corners and stuff. Something with the midfield. Vinnie Jones has a yellow card. Gary Speed scored the goal. Oster is looks like he's trying something. Ryan Giggs is playing really, really poorly, except for like tackles and headers and stuff, but that's not what I've got him on the pitch for. Mark Hughes, I don't know, not really doing what he's supposed to. So John Hartson made the assist, probably with one of the headers, I don't know. But frustrating to see that he's not hitting the target at all. Right, so the Page guy, he's doing okay. Williams is performing well. The backs, that looks all right. So I'll try not to panic and not do anything during the first break now. And I hope you'll bear with me that I'm not going to play through this quickly because I might want to do something. If anything, well, I might have to do something quickly. Right about now, maybe. If we don't manage to score the goal, I'm not satisfied with only 1 point in this match. I know that it's not an easy match necessarily, and looking at the stats, we don't necessarily deserve a win. Some guy called Konovalov, see, this is the problem. They're playing so defensively with the ultra defensive passing style. They've got Shota Arveladze up in front. Wow, that guy looks weird. Right. So I guess Vinnie Jones isn't doing too well, and John Hartson isn't either. So I'm going to substitute Vinnie Jones with the Chapel guy who's getting his debut then as a right back, and then move Phillips up on the midfield. And after that, I'll do that first because, well, it's not always easy, see, because of fingers. And, well, whoops, like that. And then I'll have to sub him with, that didn't work, like that. So Chapel down there, and that looks correct. So that's the first substitution, and I'm going to make the other substitution right away. It's John Hartson. I'll let Dean Saunders, with the determination 19 and superb morale and stuff, he should be able to come on and get that really important goal with an excellent rating in off the ball and decent shooting stuff. Not as good as Hartson in the air, but I don't know if that matters anyway with that many defenders lined up in there in front of their goal. So we've got the other two options that I have is Lee Jarman, who probably won't make the pitch this day, and then this guy whose club career isn't going all that well either, but he's pretty good, and he might be able to come on instead of Mark Hughes in like 10 minutes time. So let's see what happens. Come on, Wales. Right. No. This is just terrible. I mean, What the hell? Mark Hughes is the captain. Not really scoring any goals or anything. He's superb with 20 in determination. I don't know. I'll just keep him on and not change anything and then hope something magical happens. Could have done with another speed goal there. Saunders goes wide. Right? No. So, right now we could use a Welsh miracle. So, last 10 minutes of the match. Things are not looking bright at all. It's games like these, matches like these, like this one, that we really need to win if we are to have any hopes of actually qualifying. So this looks a bit too much like the Welsh team of that time in real life, and now they're behind 3-1. So guys, I'm not promising any miracles in this qualification. I'll do the best I can, but right now things are looking bleak, and I don't really know how we're going to dig ourselves up out of this hole. Yeah. Well, and Mark Hughes with no luck again. Paul Jones doing well. Really, they had 9 shots on target. We had 1. This was by far the worst result of this save game so far. Worst result I've achieved, and well, I'm going to have to think of something inspiring to say to the players, because obviously I'll be going to the dressing room now, and I'm going to have to tell them something that can make them believe that this is still possible. I don't know if you believe. I'm not sure I don't. I'm not sure I believe it either anymore, but you never know. It's football. Anything might happen. But right now, well, got Czech Republic beating Estonia. So getting that second position in this group might just prove an impossible task. It's beginning to look way too much like the World Championship qualifying group, with the 2 teams in front and 2 teams behind, and then 1 team without any wins at all. Right, but that's the way it is. I'll do my best with and a suspension for Vinnie Jones and Gary Speed again. So once again without the central midfield, but this time in the next match we will be facing Belgium. And really in a way that's a match where we can only surprise, because we are obviously expected to lose that match. So hopefully we'll be able to pull off some sort of miracle in that match, because it didn't happen in this one. That was actually quite woeful. And that cheerful guy that I gave debut for some reason, I don't know what I was thinking, but he went in and well, to set a foot right. So that's what it is. I'm hoping that I can show you guys something different in the next match. But right now, feeling sort of down about this result. So I'll click through to the next one. Oh, and I'll make sure to save. And then I'll see you guys hopefully next time for a better result.